Who's ready to get bamboozled here tonight?
No.
So much excitement, yes. So I told you guys this is a little bit of a different workshop that I've done in the past. This is more of a soapbox discussion about things that just piss me off. Because these are things that I wish I had known a lot sooner. It's a lot of things that people still don't know. Some of this stuff you might already know, which is awesome. But some of the stuff you might not even agree with. That's okay. I'm not here to convince you of anything. Understand that tonight. I'm not here to convince you of anything. My goal for tonight is to open your mind to maybe there is a different way of looking at something. Maybe what I thought was a truth because everybody told me it was true might not really be true because I've never thought about it. So I want to just open your mind to a different reality that may be here. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a truth seeker. But unfortunately, a lot of times when you seek the truth, you're also called a conspiracy theorist until you're right. How about that? Yeah, that's what happens when we go down the wrong path or the path less followed, right? So we call them bamboozled, 18 of them here tonight. When I got this workshop, there were 7. And then we thought of a whole bunch of other ones, and I had a decision to make. Do I go in depth of 7, or do I go lightly through 18 to raise more awareness? And that was the vote. We're going to go through all of them, okay? This shouldn't take more than an hour, or maybe it will. I don't know. It depends on how much we want to discuss. But if you guys have questions as we go along, feel free to ask. I will have a question and answer at the end, so if you have some things that you want to know truths to that I might know the answer to, I'll answer those. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer, and we'll find an answer for you. Okay? So let's start with number 1, which is trust the experts. Follow the science. Do what you're told. But what has this gotten us when we listen to what the doctors tell us to do? We get more sickness and disease in the United States than any other country that is not a third world country. So heart disease kills 720,000 Americans every year. 650,000 Americans lose their life to cancer every year, but there's something that kills more people than cancer or heart disease in the United States. Does anybody know what that is? Medication, that's part of it. There's a word called iatrogenic death. Here it is. This is how you spell it. Iatrogenic death. Kills 780,000 Americans every single year. What is an iatrogenic death? It is a death that's inadvertently caused by the medical system. So this could be malpractice, but most of the time it's not malpractice. They gave you the medication, it's properly prescribed, you took it properly, and you died from it. Or an interaction with another medication. Or side effects. Then there's overdoses. Then there's people who go under the knife and they never wake up. Or how about the most common one I've heard is, you're 75 years old, you break your hip, you go to the hospital, and you catch pneumonia. And then you die from those. Iatrogenic death. So the system that's been put in place to save all of our lives is actually the most dangerous thing we should be fearing. In fact, I haven't used this in forever, but I got this Time magazine. This is from 2006. I had to dig it out. I've had it since then. And it says, what do doctors here? I'll just pull up the article. This is a great question here. What scares doctors?
Healthy patients.
No. That's their bank account that gets scared. What scares them? At the bottom, can you read that? It says, being the patient.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Being the patient scares the doctors more than anything. Why? Because they know what iatrogenic death is. Again, inadvertently caused, meaning your doctors are not bad people. They're trying to help you, but it's dangerous. So what should we be doing when it comes to our health? We should be doing everything we can to prevent. Because the 783,000 people dying is the equivalent of 6 jumbo jets crashing every single day. Every single day for a year. If that happened in one day, what would happen to all the flights the next day? Grounded. They're not going anywhere. Why? Because they want to investigate what caused this in the first place so we don't let this happen again. But this is happening every day at the hands of the medical system. We know what's happening, and we're still going to the doctor asking for pills. Americans are the most medicated people on earth and the least healthy. Something doesn't add up. When's the last time you went to your doctor and he asked you, well, what are you eating? How often are you eating these meals? What about your exercise regimen? What's that look like? Do they ever ask you these questions?
Which kind of doctor?
Well, I'm not talking about the doctor I know who you're seeing. She sees a functional medicine doctor. Fantastic.
Does not accept insurance.
Yes. He's a very different type of doctor because he's more on the holistic mindset as I am, as what's causing these issues? Not let me just see what pill I need to give you after after running thousands of dollars worth of tests. I can tell you right now, if your doctor prescribes a drug without asking about your diet and lifestyle, you're not seeing a healer, you're seeing a drug dealer. This is not what we want to do because are drugs safe?
Yes and no.
Drugs are not safe. There's no drugs that is actually safe because every drug has a what? A side effect. They shouldn't call it a side effect, they should call it a co-effect. It's just a side because it's not what they wanted to happen. All right? So bamboozled number 2 is the FDA means it's safe. I see lots of people go, no. It's funny because we all are starting to realize that just because the FDA said it was approved means it's been tested for efficacy and efficiency and safety. Not true at all. But then you have doctors who go, well, that's not FDA approved. Who cares at this point? Because who's the FDA really protecting?
Big pharma.
Big pharma and corporations. In fact, I need to get volume up on this for a second. I got a couple of videos for us. Is that the right video? Yes. All right, I got a video for you. This is a video of a congresswoman interviewing a doctor that's part of the FDA.
I want to ask some questions of you, and a simple yes or no is fine. The FDA's authority over the safety of baby lotion. First, can the FDA require a review of baby lotion for safety before it comes to market?
No, we cannot.
Can the FDA require the manufacturer not to use a toxic ingredient, for example, formaldehyde, in its baby lotion?
No.
Is the manufacturer required to register with the FDA before selling its baby lotion?
No.
So I think my first statement is becoming truer. Once the baby lotion comes to market, can the FDA require safety information about the baby lotion?
No.
If the baby lotion has caused bad reactions in the babies, can the FDA require a recall?
No.
If the manufacturer is aware of the baby's bad reactions, would the manufacturer be required to report that to the FDA?
No.
Well, I think everybody's paying rapt attention here.
How sad is that? So who's the FDA really protecting? The corporations. They're not protecting us. So just because something is FDA approved or not approved really doesn't mean anything anymore. Because they approve, how many medications have they approved that killed thousands of people, and then they took it back off the market? Who are they really testing it on then? Us. A certain amount of people need to die before they'll even start to look at the safety. And maybe they'll think about putting a black box label on it. Or if more people die, they'll actually take it off the market. Yet things like vitamin D, that's not FDA approved. You shouldn't take that. Does that make any sense? So does FDA approved mean anything to you anymore?
No.
I don't think it should. So I don't really pay too much attention to that anymore. Bamboozled number 3, trust the science. Have we learned our lesson? Yeah? Yes, some of us have, some of us have not. But when I say trust the science, you have to understand, your doctor is getting most of their information from studies. Studies are funded by people who want their study to prove a point, their point. So who's really backing most of the studies that are being done? Pharmaceutical companies. So if they back a study and it comes out negative towards their medication, do you think it's going to be published? Whoop, shred it, never happened. They're going to do it again and again and again until they can cherry pick their information until they get what they want, and then they're going to use that to prove to your doctor that what they're doing is working. And then your doctor is always going to say, well, has it been researched? Has it been researched? This is a study that showed 41% of these 49 articles have been shown to be wrong or significantly exaggerated in their studies. And JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association, actually showed that up to 90% of their published information that doctors are relying on to quote unquote manage your health is actually flawed. So again, your doctors are learning from pharmaceutical companies, and they're the ones who are giving you guys the information, and then you guys are making decisions based on the doctor's information that they're getting. It doesn't make much sense. Has anybody seen it's a limited series on Netflix called Painkiller? Yeah. Raise your hand if you've seen it. Okay, if you have not seen it, I highly suggest you watch it. It's not a documentary. I don't know what it's played out. There's actors, and it's a story. Docudrama, thank you, that's what it is. It's really well done. It was in my queue for a long time going, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to give them a minute of my time. And then I decided to watch it, and it was, not only was it well done enough to get your attention, but it was also pretty disgusting as to things that were happening on the back end. Like the drug reps, they know all the bad things they're doing, and they're doing it anyway. Why? Money. We know this. If you want to follow the science, don't follow the science, follow the money. I had a patient tell me that today. Just follow the money, you'll find the truth. Yes?
What was the name of the show again?
Painkiller. Mm-hmm. Yep, it was pretty well done. All right, Bamboozled number 4. Our food is full of nutrition. Unfortunately, it is not. You have to eat 43 bowls of spinach in the year 2000 to get the same amount of nutrition as one bowl in 1953. Wow. Over-farmed. It's not about the spinach, it's about the soil. We have destroyed our soil to the point where there's no more nutrients in it. So if there's no nutrients in the soil, how are the nutrients getting into the plants and the vegetables and the fruit? So bananas have potassium. They're supposed to. Do you think they really do? Not as much. So there's a gap between what we think we're getting and what we need. What bridges that gap? This is where vitamins and supplements come in. This is why I take supplements every day, because I know there's a gap. No matter how well you eat, whether it's organic or not, you're not getting the amount of nutrition that you should have been getting. So when you're taking like the foundational 3 or a multivitamin that's absorbable and has all the things you need in it, it's going to bridge the gap between what you need and what you're actually getting. Okay? But how about this one? Well, I ate that as a kid. I was fine. Who said that before? Are we liars? Yes, everybody. Yes, we've all said it. The problem is that what we ate as children is not what is in your kid's bowl anymore. I mean, there's a lot of little words up here. It's hard to read us, but the easiest one, McDonald's French fries. Back in the day, up to year 2000, potatoes, beef tallow, and salt. That's what a French fry should have. What's in there now? Potatoes and vegetable oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, dextrose, sodium acid, pyrophosphate, salt, natural beef flavor instead of actually using beef tallow, contains hydrolyzed wheat and hydrolyzed milk as starting ingredients. Like, what? Did you guys know Twinkies used to have bananas in it?
Wow.
Yeah, Twinkies. Back in the day, flour, milk, sugar, eggs, and bananas. Now, too many to name.
Somebody should be in jail messing with our Twinkies.
Right? Go back in time, right? And then Skippy, peanuts, salt, and sugar instead of hydrogenated oil and all the other bad stuff that's in it. So just understand this, and this is why I put this up here. Just because you ate it when you were a kid doesn't mean you should give it to your grandchild or your children. You got to read the labels. I guarantee you they are different than when we were kids. All right, number 5, pregnancy is a medical condition. So it's a medical condition as soon as you get pregnant, because now you have to go to the doctor every certain amount of weeks. And you have to have all these pokes and prods and all these different tests just so you can have a healthy baby in a hospital. Do we really need to do that? No. Where have babies been born for thousands and thousands of years? At home. Why do we need doctors now? So again, are there times and places for doctor's visits? Of course. But do we have to?
I'm going to be your 1%.
No. You're going to be my 1%er here. And Dr. Sidney brought this to our attention this week about epidurals. Did you guys know there's fentanyl in epidurals?
I did.
Beautiful. Yeah, she's smiling about it. Yes.
Have you had a baby?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
didn't feel a thing.
I had mine.
I was there for 3.
My choice.
Didn't hurt me at all. It's fine. But the problem here is 78%. You have your children, if you're born here in the United States, 78% chance of your kid dying compared to the rest of the world. Our infant mortality rate is awful. Why? Because we are intervening with a God-given process. What happens when man messes with nature? Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Every time. It's bad every time. Every time we intervene, whenever man starts to think that we are smarter than God's creation, we screw things up. How could we ever be smarter than that? It's impossible. Can't be. So what we need to start doing is using our brains when we make decisions. Have you guys ever seen this tool before? It's an acronym? Yeah, I had not, but I use it apparently because I've been using my brain for a while now. Brain means, okay, what are the benefits of this test or treatment? So I want to know, what are the benefits? What are the risks? All right, the pros and cons of doing whatever it is. What are the alternatives? Just so you know, there's always an alternative. If your doctor says there is no alternative, you can say, well, you're telling me that you don't know of an alternative. Don't tell me there's no alternative. Okay? Your intuition that's the most important thing. Does this feel right? What does your gut say? If your gut says get the hell out of there, get the hell out of there. Mom's intuition is always the best doctor. They're the ones that know what's going on with their kids. They know if this feels right or not. And then well, nothing. What if I do nothing? A lot of times, nothing's going to happen. So then why are we putting all this risk in? Why are we put ourselves at risk when if we did nothing, nothing would happen? So again, when we start using that tool to weigh your options, you might make different decisions. Now, talking about this is trying to get fired up about this one. This one bothers me. Yeah. This is from the Journal of Pediatrics, peer-reviewed. This is going to all pediatricians in the United States. And it says the unintended consequences of invoking the word natural when we talk about breastfeeding. Would you like to hear a little story? I'm going to read some parts of this. And just understand, this is what your doctor is reading, and he's using this information to talk to his patients. So I'm not reading this whole thing, but I'm reading the parts I highlighted, which is some of it. We are concerned about breastfeeding promotion that praises breastfeeding as the natural way to feed infants. This messaging plays into a powerful perspective that natural approaches to health are better. This may ultimately challenge public health's aim in other contexts, particularly childhood vaccinations. So what they're really saying here is natural is better, but don't tell them that, because then they're going to say no to our vaccines. Beneath the concern of many Americans over vaccine safety, a specific and not necessarily illogical worldview is discernible. A rejection of the manufactured, the synthetic, and the unnatural, and an embrace of the natural as healthier and intrinsically better. Vaccines are often seen as unnatural, and boosting immunity naturally is viewed by some as healthier and a better approach. Okay. I mean, this is common sense so far, right? Like, okay, studies have shown that parents who resist vaccination tend to inhabit networks of like-minded individuals with similar beliefs. These pockets of anti-vaccination sentiment tend to overlap with reliance and interest in complementary and alternative medicine, skepticism of institutional authority, don't question your doctor, and a strong commitment and interest in health knowledge, autonomy, and healthy living practices. All of the worst things in the world. You see how I'm getting a little pissy about this? This is ridiculous. Okay, not done yet. This embrace of the natural over the unnatural appears in a variety of contemporary scientific and medical issues beyond vaccination, including rejection of genetically modified foods, a preference for organic over conventionally grown foods, and rejection of assisted reproductive technologies, as well as concerns over environmental toxins and water fluoridation. I'm not seeing the problem yet. This view that natural is synonymous with better may work against specific public health goals. Because you got to do it for the greater good, right? That's what we were sold 6 years ago. All right, this is the last of it. The natural option does not align consistently with public health goals. If doing what is natural is best in the case of breastfeeding, how can we expect mothers to ignore that powerful and deeply persuasive worldview when making choices about vaccination? If breastfeeding promotion frames the factory-made option as risky or unhealthy, what should parents conclude when choosing between factory-made vaccines and boosting immunity naturally? We should think twice before referencing the natural in breastfeeding promotion, even if it motivates women to breastfeed.
Okay, so where is this? Can I look it up?
Oh, yes. It's the Journal of American Pediatrics. Every pediatrician's read this. Mm-hmm. Yep. And if you'd like, I'll just make copies of it for you before you go.
Okay.
Whew.
Yeah.
I'm a little fired up now, a little upset. Because, Bill Gates, he was making a company, he was backing a company called, where is it? BioMilk in Durham, North Carolina, because they said that why breastfeed when you can just get milk from our laboratory? The same thing goes with formula. Now, there is a time and place for formula, right? Should it be the only option? No. Should it be your first option? No. It should be the last option when all things are exhausted. Here's something that's really cool. Have you guys ever heard of the, the backwash signal system? No. This is 2 bags of breast milk pumped within 24 hours from the same woman. Are they the same color? No. This is absolutely incredible. The baby's saliva will talk to the mammary glands in the mom and tell that body and that mom what it needs. And based on what it needs, the profile of the breast milk will change hourly, daily. So if that baby is starting to try to fight something, it's going to create more antibodies. The mom is going to create more antibodies in their milk to give that baby what it needs right then. How incredible is that?
What is that called?
That is called the backwash signal system. So when I have patients that are not able to breastfeed, or I'm sorry, they are pumping only. I said, because it's too painful or whatever it is, I still say, get them to your nipple once a day for a couple minutes. If you don't get a whole nursing, that's fine. But you're allowing that baby to communicate with your body so that when you pump tomorrow, it's going to give it what it needs. Because if you did it once and you pump the rest, that milk that you're giving that baby was like 6 months ago what they needed. Right? So every time it touches, it changes the composition of the milk. That is freaking incredible.
Or is it backwash?
Backwash signal system. All right, Bamboozle number 6. Vaccines saved us from all kinds of big bad diseases. What most people don't realize is most of those diseases were already almost gone before the vaccine was invented, but then propaganda took that information and said the vaccines did it. Yeah, but now we've all been taught that you have to have a vaccine in order to be healthy. True or false? False. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you have to get a vaccine or not get a vaccine. I'm not here to judge you whether you did or not. That's not my job. My job is to do some research. So I had never questioned vaccinations in my entire life until I got to chiropractic school. And I'm going to give you a story that kind of makes me laugh about where I came from and where I am now. I was very medically minded going into chiropractic school. Honestly, didn't know what I got myself into. I thought I was a different type of medical doctor that wasn't going to prescribe medication. Didn't realize the whole holistic background and what their view was. I thought it was cracking people's backs and helping people with back pain, neck pain, headaches. Girl sitting next to me was talking about how she's grew up in a chiropractic family. Her dad's a chiropractor in Arizona. And she said, I didn't get vaccinated. You know what I did? scooted over. I look back on, why would I do that? Because I thought that I could get a disease from her because she wasn't vaccinated against these diseases that I was vaccinated against. Okay.
Like she carries around with her.
Right. That's how much I knew as a 22-year-old. So she started questioning me like a good chiropractic child should do, like your granddaughter-in-law did, and said, well, what's the matter? I said, well, why would you not get vaccinated? She says, well, why do you get vaccinated? I said, because we're supposed to. And she says, oh, really? Who told you you're supposed to? Well, everybody does it. I said, okay. And I said, well, but who told you you're supposed to? Well, my doctor told me I had to do it to get into school. And did you ever do your own research on it? No, why would I do my own research? It's just what it's supposed to be done. Everybody's supposed to do it. If you're not doing it, you're doing it wrong. And then I stopped for a second and heard myself talking, going, oh my God, I'm doing it because everybody else is doing it. I mean, it sounds so ignorant. And I was 100% ignorant to all these things. So I started doing my own research and realizing, oh my God, maybe we don't need these things. If my body was designed to heal itself of everything and anything with no interference, why don't I just live that way? And I can tell you I've never had a vaccination since then because it doesn't make sense to me. And I knew I was going to have to make that choice when I had children. And I thank God every day that I made the choice to never give them an injection of any sort. And they never will. And they look at it very similar to how we do now. But again, not everybody thought that. Not everybody thinks that. But, you know, in 1958, Jimmy down the street's got measles. Go get it. Go play with him. We had chickenpox parties in the 80s, guys.
Yeah, we did.
Right.
Yep.
And now what do? Oh, don't go play with him. He's going to kill you.
I know.
What changed? What changed here? Did measles get worse? Did measles all of a sudden start killing everybody infected? Or is there a propaganda teaching people that you need a vaccine or you're going to get a deadly virus? If you look at it, that's what they talk about. And now if you're scared enough, and we get you enough scared, guess what I can do now? If you're scared, I can control your decisions. And I'm going to tell you, that here's how I'm going to ease your fear. I'm going to give you a vaccination, and you're going to be fine. Does anybody know what's actually in these vaccinations? So many things. So many things. Heavy metals that will never come out of your body. All kinds of preservatives. Mercury, aluminum. Guys, there's a lot in there. So again, I look at it as I'm not pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine. I'm pro make a informed decision with all the information. I am pro don't get bullied at the doctor's office. Well, my kid's not going to get into school, so I did it. Oh, I want to go punch that doctor for lying to you because that's not true. But do you have more faith in the government telling you what you should do with your body? Does anybody trust the government at this point? No. So why would I trust that to put those chemicals into my baby? Like Hep B, hepatitis B, sexually transmitted disease. Within 24 hours of having a baby in the hospital, guess what they're giving that baby? Hep B vaccine. Why? No freaking clue. Things are changing, thank God. But guys, they're not changing enough for you to be able to rely on your government to make the decisions for you. Again, this is what tonight's all about. Do your own research. Studies have come out to show that the children who are vaccinated versus the unvaccinated, there's a difference. This is quite interesting. 10% more allergies for people that get vaccinated versus unvaccinated. 22% versus 6.9% of all allergies. Eczema, 9.5% to 3% for the unvaccinated. Learning disabilities, 5.7% to 1%. ADHD, almost 5% to 1%. And neurodevelopment disorders like learning disabilities and autism spectrum disorder, 10% to 3%. These are just taking kids that have vaccinations versus kids that didn't get vaccinations. So again, 81 doses by the age of 18. 81 doses. You think that's okay?
No.
It's ridiculous. It really is. This is even more ridiculous. Do you guys like Joe Rogan? I'm kind of the same way. But I have a little clip from him which I thought kind of put something together. So I'm going to have you watch this real quick.
Until this COVID epidemic, I would have never questioned it. I mocked anti-vaxxers. I was like, these people are silly. Don't they know all the good things that vaccines have done? And there's the blatant propaganda that we were force-fed like one of those ducks they're trying to make foie gras with. It just made me stop and pause and go, is the whole thing like this? Is this whole thing just a dirty money laundering operation? Because it kind of seems like that's at least part of the reason why they were telling people to get boosted when they knew it wasn't working, and telling young people that didn't need it to. They wanted to make a lot of money. That's the only reason why you would do any of those things after a certain amount of information is out. And so it just made me stop and think about the whole thing and go, well, why would I assume that this is the one area where pharmaceutical drug companies, everybody's been totally honest in this one area, when it's like a religious thing if you question it. And I love the title of your book.
Yes. Vaccines, amen.
Yeah.
The religion of vaccines.
That's what it is. It's a religion for secular, intelligent people with a higher education.
And it causes incredible cognitive dissonance for anybody out there to come to the conclusion that the CDC and the FDA and our public health authorities and what the entire medical establishment has been telling you may not be accurate about vaccines. Because like what you just said, the claim that you're a flat earther, you're an anti-vaxxer, they're used as a way to say you are really out there and dumb. Right?
They're completely equal in their impact.
And so it takes incredible cognitive dissonance to say there are real problems with vaccines. But vaccines really sit in their own little universe. They're unlike any other medical product. They're not like penicillin. They're not like any other drugs. They're not like any other product out there, any other product in this room, anything out there, for one major reason. Every other product that exists, I can sue the company. I can hold them accountable if that product injures or kills you or your child on the basis that product could have been safer. The only product, and I mean this literally, the only product in America where you cannot sue to say, had you made that product safer, my child wouldn't be dead. My child wouldn't be seriously injured. They wouldn't have a neurological disorder. They wouldn't have an immunological disorder. They wouldn't have a nervous system disorder. They wouldn't have a cardiac issue. Are childhood vaccines and child vaccines used by adults. It's the only one. And that's because of a law called the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986.
How can you trust a company who has no liability? Would you trust any company that did that? Then I don't understand why we're trusting this. And what people don't know is, well, we know that the flu shot's not safe or effective, right? Please, yes. But this right here, you guys ever heard of vaccine court before? So if somebody gets injured by a vaccine, you can actually go to court and win some money. Where's that money coming from? Do you think it's the pharmaceutical companies? Tax dollars. So they're making things, they don't really care how safe they are, and they're making billions and billions of dollars. And if somebody gets hurt, oh well, they're going to go to vaccine court and the American people will pay for it. So we're paying for it whether we like it or not. And now we have the flu vaccine, which we know is not effective because it's always last year's strain. Most people that get the flu had the flu shot. I've never had a flu shot. I would never suggest getting a flu shot. And now they're changing it to mRNA flu shots. Do you guys know anything about mRNA?
Yes.
Yes. Here's all you need to know.
Don't do it.
That's what you need to know. She said, don't do it.
The inventor himself said it was never intended for this use.
Yes. Agreed. Because it's going to go into your DNA and hijack your DNA will never be the same. Now, if we're older and we're not having any more babies, maybe that's not that big a deal. If you're younger and you haven't made babies yet, we don't know what's going to happen yet because it hasn't happened very much. That's not good. I want nothing to do with it. However, I saw today a bulletin came out and said make sure you get your flu shot if you're 6 months old or older. What the hell? This is what, guys, this is what your doctor is reading. And your doctors are, unfortunately, not all, but a lot of doctors are not thinking for themselves. If they were, they would never have shut down or made you wear a mask or told you to get the mRNA shot. They are doing what they're told, because if they don't do what they're told, they could lose their license or AMA membership or whatever it is, okay? Because we know that these things don't work. And has anybody been watching Fauci? Yeah, the hearings. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just going to plead the fifth about everything. If you haven't watched it, I would watch it, because it makes you want to punch your television, okay? Because he sat there for months and months and said, nothing works. Did you guys know that hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin actually worked for COVID?
Yeah.
But you know why they said it did not work? Because if it worked, they couldn't have fast-tracked a vaccination. So when they said there was no other option out there, that's when they could push forward the vaccination, which we know has caused more deaths and damage to people than any good, because it started off as it's 100% effective. Then it was 90, then it was 80, I think it's like 25% effective. It's not effective at all. And then you need boosters. And there are people that are still getting boosters. I have no idea why. Don't do it, okay? mRNA, run away. We don't need flu shots, but check this video out I found of, our beloved Dr. Fauci.
She's had the flu for 14 days. Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no. If she got the flu for 14 days, she's as protected as anybody can be, because the best vaccination is to get infected yourself.
And
So
she should not get it?
if she really has the flu, she definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine. If she really has the flu.
She should not get it again
No,
this
she
year?
doesn't need it, because it's the most potent vaccination is getting infected yourself.
You may want to punch my TV.
What was his net worth at that video?
Oh, probably not very much.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was telling the truth back then, and not so much during COVID. Great. And look at all the crap that we had to go through for that BS. But why did your doctor continue to do it? Because they were getting bonused on percentages of their practice that were getting the shots. Just like, why does your doctor push so hard to get your children vaccinated? They get bonused. They get bonused. Where did your doctor make most of his money is the well checks. They love their well checks. They don't have to do anything. Height, weight, head circumference, shot. Give me my money. If you're not going to do the shots, why are you going to the doctor? I don't know. So what you need to do is inform yourself. This is a really good book. If you are a new parent or going to be a parent, want to learn more, this book is fantastic. But online, nvic.org, National Vaccination Information Center. That is your best online resource for unbiased. They look at both sides. They give you both sides. You make your own decision. But it's a great place to get information. All right. Bamboozled number 8. If you have a fever, that means you're sick. This is actually a pretty funny guy here. Anybody ever had their temperature taken rectally? Yeah. So here's the thing. We all think, and we've been taught, if you have a fever, that means you're sick. What did we talk about earlier? Do we use that word in my office? No. Most of my patients know this. What do we say instead? We're fighting something, right? Because if you say you're sick, your body believes that you're sick and you're not going to heal as quickly. You're mind over matter. Instead of saying I'm catching something, I don't want to catch anything. I want to fight something. All right? So I'm fighting something. That's way better. But if you have a fever, what is your body really doing? Does a dead person get a fever? No. Somebody whose body is trying to fight something is going to get a fever. So what is a fever really doing? It is raising the temperature to create an environment where viruses and bacteria can no longer thrive, no longer replicate, and become weakened so that your immune system and white blood cells can take control. Once it's under control, what's the body going to do to that fever? It's going to bring it down when it's ready. When it's ready. Now, we've been taught that if you have a fever, that's bad, so what do we need to do for the fever? We need to break the fever, and how have we been taught to do that? Tylenol, Motrin, all things we shouldn't be doing, right? I found something that showed, is it back on here? Yep. University of Maryland study looked at 2 groups of people with influenza A. One broke their fever with Tylenol, the other did not break it and let it sweat it out. Guess who stayed sick longer? Break the fever. Their quote-unquote sickness lasted 3.5 more days than the people who just sweat it out. Because your body is always doing the right thing at the right time. So if you have a fever, what's your body doing? What it needs to do. When you come here and if you call me and say, I have a fever, I'm not coming in today, what are we all going to tell you? Get your butt in here. Because what are we going to do? When we adjust you, we remove the interference. What happens to your fever? Does it go up or down? It goes up. It's going to go up because we just removed any interference. That fever is going to go higher. Are you going to feel better right away? No. But what do? We removed any interference that blocked your body's ability to heal itself. You're going to go home. You're going to go to sleep. You're going to wake up the next morning going, I feel great because my body was supercharged. Now, what do people say about fevers? Why do you need to take Tylenol or Motrin or aspirin? It's going to get too high. What if it gets too high?
So what is, because I've always been told that like 104 to 106, you need to get your fever down. Is that misconception?
Yep. 108. So 108 is brain damage. But we've 107 and a half. It's fine. It's fine. So 108 is where, so again, parents, I get it. We're concerned. Our kid doesn't feel good. It's scary. 108 is where brain damage would happen. How often does that happen? With a fever from a virus or a bacterial infection? Just about never. When do you get to 108? Is overheating. Leave your kid in the car in August and leave the windows up. They're going to be at 108. That's brain damage. Okay? That's not going to happen. Again, one of the chiropractic principles right here, the forces of your innate intelligence will never destroy the structures within it works. Meaning, your body would never hurt itself. It's self-limiting. So if that fever goes up to a point where it seems like it could be dangerous, what does the baby's body do? Has anybody ever heard of febrile seizures before? Yeah. So when the temperature gets too hot, the body recognizes, hey, bring it down a little bit. It might seize and have convulsions. And when we're creating convulsions, what are we doing? Creating heat. Heat leaves the skin by evaporation, which actually cools the core temperature. How brilliant is that? The body's always doing the right thing at the right time. And one of the things that I wanted to bring this up, I had a patient, new patient, 3 or 4 years old, and they wrote down seizures on the paperwork. Well, how often did they had seizures? Well, they had one. Well, when did this happen? Oh, he had a fever. So they had a fever, they had a seizure, and what are you going to do? You're going to take that baby to the hospital because you're freaking out because you don't know any better, right? You're like, oh my God, I got to go. What do they do at the hospital when you have a febrile seizure? Nothing. Because even the doctors know that this is normal, this is fine. You know what they didn't do? They didn't educate that parent and say, this is a febrile seizure. This is a normal part of healing. Go home, get some rest. They let that parent think that their child was epileptic. So they had been in fear for the past 4 years. When's his next seizure? Just another thing that makes me mad. So I explained all this to him. The amount of relief I saw on this dad's face was immeasurable. But that's just, I have a soapbox somewhere I'm going to stand on. This is the stuff that pisses me off. Take 2 more seconds and put the parent at ease and give them a little bit of education instead of just running to your next patient and hope that they figure it out on their own. Unnecessary. So what can we do if we are fighting something? Number 1, get adjusted. Don't miss your adjustment. Get an extra adjustment. It boosts your immune system. And then there's some supplements that you can take. And one of the ones that we just came out with is something called Cytal V. Cytal means killer, like homicide. We want to kill viruses. That's what the V stands for. This is a formulation designed to kill viruses. Some of it's there to boost your immune system because what can we do to kill viruses? You can't take an antibiotic. So the only thing we can do is make our body stronger. Vitamin A, zinc, Vitamin D, high doses, right? Well, instead of taking all these different pills and trying to figure it all out, you take this. There's a whole bunch of other things in here, botanicals, and you've got probiotics and postbiotics and lysozyme and enzymes. They're all there designed to kill viruses. This is a break the glass in case of emergency supplement. This is not something you take every day. Okay, so if you're fighting a virus, what could you do? You take this. It's a 14-day regimen. That's it. It's 6 capsules a day for 14 days. And it's not like an antibiotic where make sure you complete it all, right? You do what you want. But this will boost the immune system. This will kill the viruses and help your body heal. But number one, turn the power back onto the body. So, how about bamboozled number 9? Ear infections are a normal part of childhood and every kid gets them. True or false? False. Why are they more susceptible? Because their immune system is not fully developed and their eustachian tubes are more horizontal, not vertical. When they're vertical, they drain better. When they're horizontal, stuff stays stagnant in here and can lead to ear infections. This is why getting adjusted, moving this area around up there specifically, takes pressure off the nerves, can move the eustachian tube. This is why we pull on ears when we adjust the little kids, to help open up the eustachian tube and allow it to drain properly. But the second you take your child to a pediatrician, they look in the ear, what do they say? It's a little red in there. Here's your antibiotic. Are they actually looking to see if it's an infection? Because most of the time, ear infections are caused by what? Viruses. So what is an antibiotic going to do? Nothing. In fact, again, in that American Journal of Pediatrics, it actually says wait and watch. That's what your pediatrician's supposed to do, because they showed that the kids who take antibiotics get better the same amount of time as the kids that waited and watched and let the body heal themselves. So why are we running to the doctor when we're a little sore? You know, how about go to the chiropractor, turn the power on, get it to drain better, instead of giving medication? Yeah. Because again, risks, we're going to use our brain, right? What are the benefits? What are the risks? What's A? Anybody remember? I can't remember. Alternatives, yeah. What are the alternatives? What's your intuition say? Does this feel right? And what if I do nothing? In this case, if you do nothing, your kid's probably still going to get better. So what are the risks? There's risks. I'm going to go through that here in a second. So what can you do for ear infections instead? Chiropractic care, warm or cold compress, changing sleep positions. You can do salt water, garlic and ginger in the ear, naturopathic ear drops, hydrogen peroxide, rest, and vitamin D to boost the immune system. So lots of things you could be doing that are not antibiotics. But antibiotics, they got to be perfectly safe to give to kids. That's why they make it taste good and it's pink and it looks cool, right? We've all had the pink stuff in the door of the refrigerator. I was taught when I didn't feel good to go take a swig or two and I'd be better. So again, there's ways around this stuff. Instead of just bomb the city with antibiotics. Are antibiotics safe? You don't want to answer, I get it. The answer is no, they are not safe. Are they a great tool to have in case of a severe bacterial infection? Yeah. Are they safe to give every time there's a little bit of redness behind the ear? No. Absolutely not. And this is, so I don't like reading this because I know a lot of our children have had antibiotics, so we can't go back in time. But moving forward, I want you guys to understand this. Children receiving multiple antibiotic courses before the age of 2 were more likely to develop asthma, food allergies, allergic rhinitis, ADHD, and intellectual disabilities. Results suggest that antibiotic use during childhood is a risk factor for colorectal cancer. Why? Because it alters the gut microbiota, your probiotics, all the good bacteria. You bomb it, you destroy it when you take an antibiotic. Early childhood obesity is also linked to the administration of 3 or more antibiotic courses before the age of 2. Yeah. So can't go back in time, no regrets, but moving forward, maybe we should look at alternatives to giving an antibiotic so quickly. Because your doctor is going to write the prescription quickly, because you know why? That's what you're there for. If you weren't there for the medication, why are you going there? I don't know. That's another one we're going to get to here in a minute. All right, this is another one. Adenoids and tonsils and appendix, they're expendable. Are they expendable? Let me rephrase that. Can you live without them? Sure can. Should you? No. Who put them there? Yeah, God put them there for a reason. And when you look up the immune system, which is, I grabbed that off of Google. I said, give me a picture of the immune system. Oh my God, would you look what's in there? The appendix, the tonsils, and the adenoids. Those are part of your immune system. So why are we so quick to remove them? Because you keep getting sore throats? Maybe your immune system needs to be bolstered. Maybe the child needs to get adjusted. Maybe they're eating too much sugar. There's a lot of reasons why this could happen, not just, oh, those adenoids need to come out. If you remove your tonsils, 3 times the risk of asthma, flu, pneumonia, chronic bronchitis, and emphysema as you get older. If you remove your tonsils and your adenoids, 4 times the risk of allergies, sinusitis, and ear inflammation. Great. So should we be removing these at all costs? No. Now, is there a time and place? Sure. The child can't breathe? So, I mean, things happen. You know, we're in a perfect design doesn't mean we're always perfect, right? So sometimes adenoids get in the way of normal breathing. The child can't breathe at all. Oxygen, more important than adenoid. I'd agree with that. But sometimes these kids can grow out of these. Sometimes the adenoids grew bigger faster before their throat grew. So again, use the brain and start to look at benefits and risks and what if I do nothing and then does it feel good to me? Bamboozled number 12, high cholesterol means higher risk of heart disease. The studies I've been reading show that there are more people dying of heart disease with low cholesterol than high cholesterol.
Everybody getting this one?
What's that?
Is everybody getting this
Yeah. Low cholesterol is associated with mortality from stroke. 75% of patients hospitalized for a heart attack had low or normal cholesterol levels. So if your cholesterol is high, what you should do is just start taking Crestor and Lipitor, right? Because their statistics show such a huge reduction in heart attacks. Well, here you go. Lipitor reduces risk of heart attack by 36%. 36% reduction is actually a pretty significant finding. But do you see that little dot right there? It's called an asterisk. Yeah, you should always look at that. Because the truth is actually down here. This means, ready? In a large clinical study, 3% of patients taking a sugar pill or placebo had a heart attack compared to 2% of the people who were taking the drug. That's not 36%. That's 1%. But if you divide 2 by 3, you're getting 36%. Can they get in trouble for that? No, because it's technically true. Depends on how you do your division. Yeah, so the people that can read it a little bit deeper. So again, total cholesterol is not the number I look at. I'm not concerned about total cholesterol because I have patients that have their cholesterol is 400, but so is their mom, so is their dad, and they all live to their mid-90s. That means that family's composition, their genetics say that they need high cholesterol in order to live longer. But you put that same person on a medication to lower it because that doctor said that they were smarter than their body, they know more, that now you're lowering it to a place where it's dangerous. So total cholesterol is not a number I pay attention to. This is what I want you guys, this you need to take a picture of. This is the ratio that you need to memorize. Your triglyceride to HDL ratio. This is the most reliable predictor of heart disease. You take your triglyceride number, divide it by your HDL number, and you're going to get a ratio. 2.0 or less, you're good. 2 to 3, you got some work to do, and 3.0, you better get to work now because you're in danger. And everybody thinks it's fat that makes us fat, and eating cholesterol clogs up your arteries. But the studies that I've read, your dietary cholesterol intake has nothing to do with your arteries and cholesterol. It has to do with something else. And I got a fun video. Has anybody ever seen Adam Ruins Everything? Yes. I love that show. I don't know if it's still on or not. Pretty interesting, huh? You guys already knew that though? Some of it at least. Yes, eating fat does not make you fat. Eating bad fats, Trans fats, fried food, and sugar is what makes us overweight, gain weight, destroys our immune system, destroys our hormones, and it's not that hard to change. You just need to stop eating the bad fats. And if you guys don't know what bad fats are, make sure you go to our YouTube channel and go to Nutrition 101. I know I have a handful of newer patients here that if you have not seen that yet, make sure you watch that. I go in depth about what's a good fat, what's a bad fat, so you know the difference. All right, Bamboozled 14. I need to get routine colonoscopies. Do you really need to do that? What are they? Yeah, tell me. Why are we getting colonoscopies? What are they really looking for?
Nodules.
Well, they're looking for the end all, which would be colorectal cancer. But if we eat healthy diet, lots of veggies, and don't smoke, we're probably not going to get colorectal cancer. So does everybody at age 50 need to get a colonoscopy? No. I've had 2 patients pass away from having their colon perforated. That is a real risk. They're not going to tell you that. It's routine, no big deal. Just like mammograms. Do you need to get a routine mammogram every year? No. And this was very interesting, what I had read here. He said, this is a doctor, believed that screening had been a drug. It would have been withdrawn from the market long ago. Mammography screening is harmful and should be abandoned. By the time they catch cancer on that, it's late stage. So what could you do instead of mammograms? Thermography catches it way sooner. There's no x-ray involved. There's no clamping involved. All right, number 16, menopause is a disease, and the only solution is hormone replacement, which they are no longer recommending as the number 1 treatment for that. Why? What does HRT actually increase the incidence of? Breast cancer. Great. You don't want to kill your husband now, but you might have breast cancer too. That's great. So again, what could we be doing instead? Are your doctors quick to just test your blood, hormones are off, give you new hormones? What else could we be doing instead? Exercise, getting adjusted, eating better, supplementation. There's a lot of supplements out there that work really well for all the things that you might be dealing with, like hot flashes and irritability. Our new line, KHS, just came out with one called Menopause. We've had a handful of patients taking it. They've noticed big changes when it comes to their irritability and their hot flashes. So again, this is one of those brain things. What are the benefits of the HRT? What are the risks of the HRT? What does my gut say? What are the alternatives? And what if you did nothing? HRT doesn't mean you have to do it just because they offer it to you. This is going back to what Kelly said earlier. The truth is being hidden and censored. Just like this video that I'm making here tonight, I'm going to try to put it on YouTube, and it'll probably be taken down because I talked about vaccinations. And I went against the grain. I've had so many things taken off of Facebook because I was telling the truth when the truth was not accepted. So I doubt this will be going past here, but I'd love for it to. But here's the thing. You guys ever start typing in Google to look something up, and you start to type something and it gives you the suggestions? Wouldn't you think that the next suggestion or the next most popular things that people are searching for? That's what your logic would say. The answer is that's not true. That is not true. What they are actually doing, so think of Google as a library. And every book that's ever been, like the Library of Congress, every book that's ever been written is there. But Google is going to say, well, I only want you to look through my favorites. I only want you to see the ones that I like. So when I was doing research for this workshop, a lot of the stuff I know exists, because I've seen it before, unfindable. Like you said, this stuff doesn't exist anymore. Why? They're cherry picking their information just like that researcher was doing to prove his point. And you can look up things that aren't there anymore. Like I have it in my textbooks about vaccinations and why did all these things start to get better before the vaccination even happened. It had to do with sanitation. It had to do with refrigeration. It had to do with indoor plumbing. It had to do with screens in the windows. You do those things and all the typhoid fever and all these things started to go away. And then the vaccine was introduced. You looked it up now, it doesn't exist in Google anymore. It Doesn't exist. Why? Because they're cherry picking the information. So I started typing vaccines cause and it says adults and allergies and SIDS. Where's what I was looking for? Doesn't say anything about autism there. This is the actual metadata here. Okay? Vaccines cause autism. Look how many more people were actually searching for that, but it didn't show up at all in the suggested search box. Why? Because they don't want you to think that. They're only putting the things in there that they want you to think other people are looking for. You guys ever heard the quote, whoever controls the media controls the mind? Yeah, did anybody know who said that? It's actually Jim Morrison. Yeah, didn't know that. Yeah. Tell me if you guys ever seen this video before.
Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
The El Paso, Las Cruces communities. Eastern Iowa communities.
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. Yeah. What does that say to you?
It's not just one, like it's not just Fox or CBS.
It's all
the different icons. Like
yes.
All are agreed.
They've all been taught. Guys, who controls the media? Money controls the media. So the people that are doing the commercials, they are advertising. That's what keeps the stations going. Who are the biggest buyers of airtime? Pharmaceutical companies. If you don't say what we want, we're pulling our funding. They control the media. And if you control the media, you can control what people think, which is why it's called programming. And if you hear it enough, you will start to believe it. However, just because 1 million people say a foolish thing, it's still a foolish thing. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot easier in this room to say these things than it is out there. Because out there, believing the foolish things, and you start to question those foolish things, and they get mad. People get mad because they don't understand the truth. They don't want to know the truth. Isn't it easier to just go with the flow? Isn't that just easier? You know, it would have been a lot easier for me to put a mask on to go in that restaurant, but I left instead. It would have been a lot easier to not have to hide down all the different, aisles in Costco so they wouldn't find me when I was shopping during COVID because I would not put a mask on. When they finally found me, I said, I'm just going to go check out. But I had to do these things because I wasn't complying. Why? Because it was a principle. I will not comply with BS. People are just following what they're told instead of using their brain. I've never seen more mind control than that time where people just did what they told, and then you ask them, why are you doing this? And they had zero answer. Then they get mad at you for questioning them. If you get questioned and you have no answer, yes, you're going to argue back. You're going to get argumentative because you're being questioned about a belief that you have no leg to stand on. And that's what happened. That's why everybody got mad. But I want to get out of that space. I'm done with it. All right, I got 2 more for you guys. Bamboozled number 17. I've heard this before, but I need a medical doctor. I need a medical doctor to manage my health, right? Do you need a medical doctor to manage your health? You do not need a medical doctor. I don't know where that came from. Maybe the medical doctor. Maybe. But when you go to your medical doctor and you tell them all the things that are going on, they have two tools that they can do for you. They can pull out their prescription pad and start writing prescription and give you medication. Does anybody want medication? No hands up. Okay. Or they can pull the scalpel out and cut something out of you. Anybody want the scalpel? Okay. So we're all in agreement that we don't want drugs or surgery, right?
Right.
So now can you tell me why would you go to the medical doctor? If that's their answer, that's the only two tools they have in their book, in their basket of things. I can't figure it out either. Because even the people that say, I'm not going to go, still go. Now, yes, can we get testing there? Sure. Can you get testing somewhere else? Yes. We do testing here. Some of you know this, some of you don't know this. We do all kinds of testing here now. This is something we've introduced over the past 3 or 4 months. So a lot of people are like, I want to get my yearly physical. What is that for? I don't know. Blood work, but what, do you really need it?
Not really.
Not really. Physicals and vaccinations are the money makers for your doctors. They want you to come every 6 months or a year so they can do those things. They actually have never been proven to catch anything or make any changes. The physical test is there so they can figure out how to get you on more medication. Wouldn't you rather go to a doctor who ran tests and then said, okay, you do have some abnormalities. Here's some supplements that you could take that work with your body that don't have co-effects that are called side effects, and maybe change your diets and do this and that and exercise this way so we can get those numbers to re-normalize? Isn't that the kind of doctor you guys would want to go to? Me too, which is why I'm only using the medical community for one thing: emergency care. I'm not here to poo-poo them. They are fantastic when it comes to emergency care. Save your life in a crisis? Absolutely. Ask the same doctor how to be healthy? That's not their job. They live in a reactive care model. It's there for symptom relief. Your doctors would tell you that you need them. They don't have faith that God created you to be healthy. They want you to think that you're weak and sick so that you keep coming to them. They prescribe medications that all it does is manipulate your body's chemistry so that the tests look better. Whether you feel better or not, that's not their job. Your tests look good, you're fine. Raise your hand if you've had test blood work and they all said fine, but you still feel like crap. Right, because they're the wrong tests. These are not the right tests to be running. And the one that really bothers me is this one. If I can't help you, this is the medical doctor speaking. If I can't help you, you're unhelpable, hopeless. The amount of times I've had patients come to me hopeless because their doctor said you should be. I never forget, I had a patient who had a headache every day for 20 years. Why haven't you done anything about this? Well, I already went as far as I could go. I'm like, what do you mean? I went to the doctor, they sent me for CT and MRI, and I went to a neurologist, and then it was basically, you can take pain pills or not. That's all we got for you. So that to her was the end. And I said, did anybody ever look for the cause of it? Well, not really. 3 weeks of adjusting, never had a headache again. But that's because a friend of hers told her to come to the chiropractor. You're not going to see commercials on TV for this because we're outnumbered by the amount of dollars that the pharmaceutical companies have. Wouldn't you rather go to a doctor who is proactive with your health? Somebody that knows that you can heal, you should heal. Let's find the root cause of the problem. Let's not give you drugs. I don't have drugs and scalpels here. We don't want those things. All right, we have the 5 essentials. I'm going to teach you that you are beautifully made and you can heal of everything and anything. As long as we remove the interference from your nervous system, your body has the best chance of healing. We need to eat right. We need to exercise and move our body, get oxygen to our cells, and we need to minimize our exposure to toxins. And when we do those 5 things together, guess what you're going to be? Healthy. Who wants that? Raise your hand. Of course, we all want that. Who else do you want to know that? Doesn't everybody need to know this? And I'm telling you right now, I feel like a shift is happening in society. The amount of distrust to the government, I think, is a good thing. The amount of distrust to the pharmaceutical companies, I think, is a good thing. The amount of distrust to the medical community, I think, is a good thing. Let's regulate it back to what they're fantastic at, which is emergency crisis care, planned surgeries, things that are absolutely necessary, and move healthcare to somebody like us, where we're going to help work with your body, not give you dangerous medications, not cut pieces of your body out, because our job is to help your body heal and function better. Because when you're healing at 100%, this is where we get better. This is where all the things that are going to start to go away. And this is where we all deserve to be. And I know I'm a little bit over time. My big thing here is this. This is my favorite slide. Have faith over fear. We've lived in fear for years. They really put it to us in 2020, 2021, to the point where we said, why are we fearing something that's not killing people when the vaccine is the one that's actually doing more damage? Everything is changing. My whole point of this is we need to have faith that our body can and will be healthy. We need to want to be healthy. We need to make better choices on a regular basis. And I'm telling you, if you want to stay healthy for the rest of your life, stay plugged in here or another Max Living office, because every Max Living office has the same goal. I want to help guide you. I want to help show you the way. And sometimes I'll drag you through it if I need to, because I know that you can be healthy. I'm going to instill hope in you, and I'm going to remove interference so that you can all be as healthy as you should. But thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys, again, learn something new. Start questioning some of the things we've been taught as truths, because if you don't question it, it's just going to keep going. Okay? Well, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.